দর্শক আমন্ত্রণ আন্তর্জাতিক সম্পর্ক উন্নয়ন বিষয়ক আরটিভির নিয়মিত অনুষ্ঠান ডিপ্লোম্যাটিক জোনে। আপনাদের সঙ্গে আছি আমি সৈয়দ আশিক রহমান। আমাদের আজকের অতিথি বাংলাদেশের সুইজারল্যান্ডের রাষ্ট্রদূত হার এক্সেলেন্সি নাতালি শুয়ার্ড। Very welcome, Your Excellency, at Diplomatic Zone.
Thanks a lot for having me on the show.
Wonderful. We are really honored to have you in our show. So, how you feel?
To be on the show or to be in Bangladesh?
To be our show in Bangladesh.
Excellent.
Both.
I'm very happy and very glad to be on your show today. It's a great opportunity for me to speak about Switzerland, but also Switzerland in Bangladesh.
Well.
And now it's been about 2 years that I have been...
2 years?
Almost. I'm not there yet, but almost 2 years that I've been in Bangladesh. And it's really an amazing country and amazing people.
Wonderful.
So I enjoy very much being here. And I think there are two elements that are very important to me when I think about that.
Well.
The first thing is the people. I mean, obviously, the people are everything, and you have a very vibrant society. It's very colorful. Bangladeshi people are hardworking. They are resilient. It's a lot of dynamism also around me, and it gives me a lot of energy.
Thank you very much for a wonderful compliment to us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Excellency, you have a high mission to represent Switzerland as ambassador in Bangladesh. We see you have an excellent career profile, and you are serving in Bangladesh in different capacities. Would you please share your experience with us so far?
As I said, I mean, it's been a fantastic experience. It's fantastic to be here, not only with the people, as I said, that are amazing, but also at this certain time, the moment that we are in now. I mean, Bangladesh is soon to graduate from the least developed countries. You have also lots of ambition for the future. Right. Together, we have also lots of challenges, right, that we have to face, climate change, also this pandemic that we have been into for many months now, almost more than 2 years.
Right.
So I think being here in these circumstances and also at that moment is very special. So Bangladesh is celebrating its 50 years since its birth. We are celebrating the 50 years of our bilateral ties.
There's some wonderful things, and you see it's almost the same time. Well, you are talking about we are celebrating 50 years, and Bangladesh and Switzerland have excellent bilateral relations. How do you anticipate these relations developing further in coming days?
So I think the times have been changing, and the country has been changing, and our relationship has also evolved. And I think we always say that our ties have become stronger and also wider, broader. For us, the 13th of March is very much the key time, the key date, because on 13th of March 1972, Switzerland did recognize the People's Republic of Bangladesh. So when I think about it, 50 years ago, we were here with our humanitarian aid, and then we also came with our international cooperation. And so far, Switzerland has invested about 1 billion Swiss franc in terms of international cooperation in the country. And this part of our activity here is still very much there. It's running, and it's running well. At the same time, for the first time ever, over the last 12 months, we passed the milestone of 1 billion Swiss francs in terms of traded goods between our two countries. So for me, it shows very much how this relationship has evolved, how we also are putting now more and more focus and emphasis on trade and investment. And you ask me about how our relationship is going to and where it's going to. So I do think that there is much potential.
So, Excellency, you are talking about potentialities. What do you think about Swiss investment in Bangladesh? After BACC's roadshow in Switzerland last September, how do you evaluate the investment atmosphere in Bangladesh?
I think it was a very nice atmosphere, and I mean, not only I very much enjoy meeting a lot of people that came from Bangladesh, but I also enjoy very much meeting some very active Bangladeshi that are in Switzerland. I attended only the first part of the roadshow in Zurich, but it was a very nice atmosphere, and I think it's very important to put Bangladesh on the map in Europe, because people don't always know about Bangladesh. So in that sense, I think it's mission accomplished. Now, for me, what is important also is to continue these efforts, in terms of making Bangladesh known, but also bringing more investors to Bangladesh. So it's work in progress, and I really hope that with my team at the embassy, we will continue supporting that.
Ambassador Natali, as a developing country making a lot of progress, in your view, what are the challenges for Bangladesh in near future, and what are the opportunities as well?
So, I mean, for me, it's pretty clear that Bangladesh has gone through a very amazing path of progress, especially in terms of economic development and also poverty reduction. So that's very important elements among others. What is important to me, or the words that are coming to my mind today, are three words. I think it's sustainability, inclusivity, and climate, because I think that's three of the challenges that Bangladesh has to face. The first one is sustainability. I spoke about this impressive development. So now for me the question is, how can we ensure that this development is sustainable? And we have to ask ourselves the question if the recipes that brought Bangladesh to where it is today are enough for the next step. Then comes the question of inclusivity. That is also very dear to our hearts. In the spirit of the Agenda 2030 and leaving no one behind, it's important that this development is inclusive and that everybody gets on board and everybody gets the benefits on it. And my third word is climate. Obviously, the entire planet is facing an unprecedented crisis when it comes to climate change. Your Delta country is very much at the forefront of this crisis. It's really impacting the lives of millions of people. So it's a serious challenge for Bangladesh. Now you're asking me about the opportunities. I think the strengths of Bangladesh, and I spoke about the resilience of Bangladesh before, but your strength is that over the last 50 years, you have been able to retool and adjust and respond to the challenge. So I'm sure that this time should be no exception, and I'm really thinking that there are solutions also that can be found to these challenges in Bangladesh that can also serve other parts on the planet.
Just one supplement of your last questions. How many Swiss companies are operating in Bangladesh, and what is the investment volume?
40 companies that are members of the Swiss Bangladeshi Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Registered at this organization. We do estimate that there are about 100 companies in Bangladesh, but it's sometimes a bit difficult to evaluate, obviously. Big companies, our big companies are here in Bangladesh and have been here for a long time. They have been active in agribusiness, pharma, services, logistics, construction. Interestingly, also, they have had amazing activities of social corporate responsibility during COVID. So they are very much here in Bangladesh. During the last fiscal year, we estimate 45 million have been there invested by these companies. Now, and it's also related to your last question about the investment summit or investment event that took place in Switzerland. Generally speaking, the level of investment in Bangladesh is still very low. And obviously, the foreign direct investment are also pretty low. So my understanding is that it's an important point and that we should really try to bring this foreign direct investment to a higher level that will also contribute to bring Bangladesh to its next level of development. And that's an important factor. In that sense, the government has taken quite a few measures to increase the level of foreign direct investment. So I really want to encourage your government to take more measures and to really take that ahead, even more than it has been the case, because there are still hurdles, I hear, from our companies in terms of ease of doing business. So I think together we can overcome these challenges, because at the same time I see, as I said earlier, so much potential. And I want to share with you that a few weeks back we visited a Swiss company, not a Swiss company, a Bangladeshi company here north of Dhaka, and it was a flour mill. And this Bangladeshi entrepreneur had purchased very high standard Swiss machinery.
Wonderful.
And for me, it was a very interesting experience, and also a good example of what we can be doing together when your strong and innovative entrepreneurship in Bangladesh meets with Swiss standards, with Swiss quality, variability, quality. So when you put the two together, I think we can really make miracles together. That's where I find that our two countries and our two economies can really work together.
Wonderful. The Swiss government is one of the long-standing development partners in Bangladesh. At this moment, what are the development priorities in Bangladesh?
So your country has been evolving, and also your priorities. So we want in a way to tag along and to really respond to your needs, to your objectives, and to what is required for Bangladesh to move ahead. So in that sense, we just launched our new Bangladesh country program for the years 2022-2025. It's more than 130 million Swiss francs that my country is going to invest in Bangladesh over the next 4 years. And our intention, our objective is really to support Bangladesh to have this graduation from the least developed countries in a way that is smooth, inclusive, and sustainable. And to go perhaps more in the detail of our program will revolve around two axes: economic development on one hand side and social well-being for all on the other side. That's the two coins of the two sides of the same coin, if I may say.
Excellency, in which sectors you are planning to invest?
So the two sides are important. So if I speak about, for instance, economic development, we want to facilitate access to market, enhancing the skills, and ensuring that all that is done also in an inclusive manner. And to share also something that happened to me recently, again, I was visiting a company recently. It's a garment factory in Ghazipur, and our partner, our cooperation partner, has installed there a supermarket. And in this supermarket, the garment worker can come and purchase household goods, food items, not only at a fair price, but also quality items. And they can also contract their health insurance.
Wonderful.
So that's a beautiful story, and for me it gives me also lots of hope, because in this case, these are young entrepreneurs, and these young guys are really willing to see beyond profit, but really willing to invest in social impact, in activities that are also important for the environment. So that gives me a lot of hope, and that gives me also a lot of energy. And I think that's something we want to continue supporting. So that's for the economic development.
It's undoubtedly a wonderful initiatives and inspirational.
Exactly. And I'm very much motivated by that, because I think that's really having a long-term strategy and seeing really again the people and what it brings to the people. And that's perhaps bringing me to my second point, and that's the social well-being for all. And here, it's about more what is part of our traditional portfolio as Switzerland. So it's about human rights, rule of law, and in line again with the Agenda 2030 for sustainable development. So the Agenda 2030 is really, for me, the compass for the years to come, and also allows us to build back better after the pandemic. And among all the SDGs, there is one SDG that is very important to me. And I think at the core also of our program, it's SDG 16.
Wonderful.
And SDG 16 speaks about accountable, transparent, and solid institutions that really benefit everyone. And in that sense, this SDG 16 is very important.
Right.
It's not only important per se, but it's also important because it's considered an accelerator for all the other SDGs.
Right.
Because I do think, and I mean it's everybody. I mean it's common sense that in a way sustainable development can only be achieved on the basis of solid and strong human rights and rule of law. So that's an important part, and related to that, and I will finish here because I think it's an important part.
Well,
we have also our humanitarian activities, and your country has been facing also a difficult time when it comes to also hosting 1 million refugees here in Bangladesh.
Exactly.
So my country has been a steady partner of Bangladesh.
We are grateful to our friend like Swiss government on this issue, especially on Rohingya crisis.
And we want to continue doing so. So thanks a lot for recognizing that, because we want really to stay next to Bangladesh to respond to this humanitarian crisis. We want not only to continue working with the refugees in the camp with our activities and our partners until the conditions for the return are met, but we have also activities with the host communities in Cox's Bazar, because obviously they have also to face a certain number of challenges due to the presence of 1 million refugees. So I think that's the different elements of our country program for the years to come. And my personal conviction is that we are well-tooled and well-positioned to work with Bangladesh and continue working with Bangladesh to promote really sustainable development for everyone.
Great. Thank you very much. Excellency, there are more topics to discuss on our achievements and business environment. But before that, let us take a short break.
Thank you.
Thank you. দর্শক দেখছেন আন্তর্জাতিক সম্পর্ক উন্নয়ন বিষয়ক RTV নিয়মিত অনুষ্ঠান ডিপ্লোম্যাটিক জোন। এই পর্যায়ে নিচ্ছি বিরতি, ফিরছি একটু পরেই। সে পর্যন্ত আমাদের সাথেই থাকুন। দর্শক, আবারও আমন্ত্রণ ডিপ্লোম্যাটিক জোনে। আজ কথা বলছিলাম বাংলাদেশের সুইজারল্যান্ডের রাষ্ট্রদূত হার এক্সেলেন্সি নাথালি শুয়ার্ডের সঙ্গে। ওয়েলকাম এগেইন এক্সেলেন্সি at RTV studio. Ambassador Natali, what is your opinion about the major achievements of Bangladesh and also of the needed priorities?
I said earlier Bangladesh is at a crossroad, and I also spoke a lot about inclusivity. So there is no doubt that the economic development of Bangladesh has been impressive, and I mean there has been many different achievements that need to be underlined in Bangladesh. But there are two groups, perhaps, that I want to speak about, because I think those two groups are important and they are also very much drivers of change. And these two groups are the women and the youth. And women are also very important. I mean, obviously, I'm one of them, but it's also 50% of the society. And I think that the development should be inclusive also for women. I had the chance a couple of times to visit one program that Switzerland is supporting that is called Apparachita. And Apparachita is about political empowerment of women. And I had really interesting discussions with these women. And all of them, they told me the same. They don't want to be elected on reserved seats. They really want to be elected on a normal seat, because they do think that they have a lot of things to say and they have a voice that goes beyond their home, beyond women issues, that really they want to speak about everything that concerns their society and their community. And that's something that Switzerland will continue doing, but I think it's important to leave no one behind, and especially not the women. The second group is the youth. I mean, obviously the young people of today are the leaders of tomorrow, right? And they are really the ones that are driving change, and they are the ones full of opportunities and full of enthusiasm. At the same time, you have 2 million young people, as far as I understand, arriving on the work market every year. 2 million is about 1/4 of my country. So that's an amazing number of people. So these young people need good education, they need skills, they need jobs, and they need really hopes and perspective. So I think it's very important that we are able to give them that and give them good education. So I think these are very much two groups that are important and that should be taken into consideration for the benefit of everyone.
Excellency Ambassador, as you mentioned, Bangladesh and other third world countries are suffering for climate changes. Do you think developed countries compensate the developing countries?
So I think that climate change obviously is a global problem.
Yes.
And we'll need all to work together. We are all in the same boat,
Exactly.
if I may say so.
Exactly.
For sure, Bangladesh is very much ground zero when it comes to climate change. You spoke about the coastal era. I mean, I have seen families that had every year their house and livelihood and lives basically washed away because of flooding, for instance,
Right.
and they have to reconstruct their life. So that's very important and very present impact. That's an impact that is extremely present
Right.
in Bangladesh. In Switzerland, we have glaciers, as
Yes.
you know, and mountains, and our glaciers now are also diminishing and shrinking.
It's a matter of anxiety, especially for Europe.
Absolutely.
Because we know Rhone and Rhine, some places are dried up.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely,
Does
that's
that-
what
this all of
happened.
the
The
effect-
glaciers are shrinking and the river are drying up, and then
Right.
that's a huge impact on many different aspects of our lives as well. So what I want to say here is that climate change, it's a global phenomenon,
Exactly.
obviously, but it has impacts very much locally. And what is important to do is to be able to work with the people that need it the most and where the
Right.
impact is mostly felt in a
Right.
way. So that's important. But if I come to the global, perhaps, picture now, I think with the COP in Paris back then, I mean, it was pretty clear what we had
Right.
to deal with. Now with the COP in Glasgow, I think the good thing about it is that this objective of 1.5 degree is still very much there. Provided that we all join forces and work towards this objective. So that's very important that we move ahead, and that is where Switzerland has called for more investment in
Well.
climate funding and climate finance.
Well.
And indeed, we do think from my country that this support has to be strengthened. In 2020, for instance, my country gave 660 million Swiss francs in climate funding, and we intend to continue that. And we do that also now in Bangladesh, because the new Bangladesh country program that I was just mentioning before, it has also been decided that 30% of our portfolio and our budget will be dedicated to climate change mitigation
That's great.
and adaptation.
That's a big
That
job
said,
from
sir, if
Switzerland.
you allow me to say one more thing, it wouldn't be able, it will not be possible for us alone to respond to this
Exactly.
unprecedented crisis. So for me, one of the very important elements here is this partnership between public and
Right.
private companies, because we are all again in that boat together,
Right.
and we need the
the
participation and
same
contribution of everybody. So I'm very much looking forward to working with your government, but also Bangladeshi company
Really good
to
initiative.
respond to this crisis.
It's a really good initiative. Thank you very much. Excellency Nathalie, Switzerland has been named several times as a top nation for innovation. What role do you see patent playing in innovation? And what can Bangladesh learn from Switzerland's model?
So indeed, I mean, we have been nominated for the 11th time in a
11th
row,
time.
yes,
Yes.
as the world top
Right.
innovative country. So obviously
Right.
that's something to be proud of it. And even in 2021 during COVID, so we
Right.
are a nation of innovation. I think there are two factors that are important to that. And the first one is related to the patents that you just
Well.
mentioned. We have the highest number of patents per inhabitant in Europe.
Well,
So there are many objects that everybody uses on a daily basis that have that
Well.
were invented in Switzerland. The Velcro, the aluminium foil, the Swiss knife that everybody's know, but also these
Right.
days of COVID, the hand sanitizer has been also invented in Switzerland.
Switzerland.
So that's all these elements that everybody
the country
knows.
of innovation.
Exactly, that we are a country of innovation. So patents play a role. But the second element is also key for me, because there is no innovation, again, without education.
Exactly.
And in Switzerland, we have 2 universities that are part of the top 20 university in the planet. That's our Polytechnical Institute in Zurich, but also in Lausanne, my hometown. And there you will really find state-of-the-art university where young people can access to research program, innovative program. So those things are very important and should be encouraged. And that's very important to give the young people this tool, this willingness also to contribute. And again, when I think about the time that we are in now with this Building Back Better, innovation will definitely play a big role in bringing us to a future that is not only more prosperous, but also greener and sustainable for everybody.
We are almost end of the program. Any final thoughts you want to share with our viewers?
No, I really want to thank you for providing me with this opportunity to be here, to be with you, and as I said earlier, to speak about Switzerland and Switzerland in Bangladesh. And when I speak to people here that know Switzerland, and so many people know about Switzerland, I always have smile and people that are happy to speak about my country, fascinated about the mountains, that like our chocolate, obviously. Our country is also much more than that, and I really hope that during the time we are here, I'm here with my team, we will be also able to contribute to making Switzerland known and more known in Bangladesh. And my country, as I said, is a small country. We spoke about innovation before, but it's also a neutral country with bigger neighbors.
Exactly.
And we do think that solutions are better found when we act as one, but together. And it's a very important year for us in Bangladesh. As I said, it's the 50 years of our bilateral relationship. It's also a very important time for us as a global player, because, you know, Switzerland is also, for the last 20 years, member of the United Nations. We are now not competing, but we are now hoping to be elected for a seat on the UN Security Council. The election is coming up in June. So it's very important for us now to be able to speak also about our values, to also discuss about Switzerland identity and make that known. And Switzerland is a country that is very proud also of its tradition, of its diversity. We have different religions, different languages, and we have also a specific democratic system. It's called direct democracy, a strong also history in IHL, International Humanitarian Law, in terms of history. So we want to continue really working on that and working with Bangladesh to continue to make a better future for
Thank you very much. Thanks, Excellency Natali. Thanks very much for joining at Diplomatic Zone. I look forward to meet with you on other discussions in any other days.
Thank you very much. Don't know what.
Thank you. দর্শক, সুইজারল্যান্ড বাংলাদেশের বন্ধু প্রতিম দেশ। দুই দেশের মধ্যে রয়েছে সহযোগিতার এক অনন্য নিদর্শন। তার মধ্যে রয়েছে অর্থনৈতিক ও উন্নয়ন সহযোগিতা, মানবিক সহায়তা, সাংস্কৃতিক ও রাজনৈতিক বিনিময়ের মতো অসংখ্য ক্ষেত্র। এছাড়া বিকাশমান অর্থনীতির বাজার হিসেবে বাংলাদেশের চাহিদার কথা বলেছেন মাননীয় রাষ্ট্রদূত হার এক্সেলেন্সি নাথালি শোয়ার্ড। আসছে সময় বাণিজ্য বৃদ্ধি সহ সহযোগিতার এই ক্ষেত্র আরও প্রসারিত হোক, এই প্রত্যাশায় শেষ করছি আজকের ডিপ্লোম্যাটিক জোন। এতক্ষণ আমাদের সঙ্গে থাকার জন্য ধন্যবাদ সবাইকে।